Hey there, and welcome to the TinaCloud channel. My name is James, and I'm the developer advocate at Tina. Today we're going to be covering TinaCloud Starter, and how you can get up and running with TinaCloud in minutes. So stick around as I show you how to get started. So the first thing you want to do when you have decided to start using the TinaCloud Starter is register for an account. And you can do that over at auth.tina.io/register. And when you register for a new domain, it's going to ask you for an organization ID, and it must be a minimum of 4 characters. Once you click register, it will take you to a new screen that asks you for an email and a password and to accept the privacy policies. Now, once you've done that, it will bring you to the TinaCloud dashboard, which I'll show you now. So once you've signed up, you'll see this screen here. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the chat ability, which also shows you how to join our Discord if you're not already in there. Once you've done that, you have the option to create a new application or add the users that you might need. So what we're going to do is create a new app. Now, the first thing that we actually want to do is to fork the TinaCMS starter for TinaCloud, which will also be a link in the description. So once you fork this, and make sure you fork it to the account that you want to use TinaCloud with, you'll be able to link that via our TinaCloud dashboard. So I've successfully forked this, and I'm going to click New App, click Connect Repository, and it's going to authenticate you via our system, and you can just log into your GitHub, and then you'll be able to select just one repository or all your repositories for Tina. So I want to use this TinaCloud Starter. So I'm going to choose that repository, give the application a name, and where the site URL is going to be. So for now, localhost 3000, and click Save. Once you've done that, you'll be returned to the dashboard screen. And if you select the app, you'll be able to reconfigure anything that you need, and it'll also provide the client ID, your organization ID, and the repository that is connected. The most important things here are the client ID, which is individual to each repository that you connect to TinaCloud, and the organization ID. Now, the organization ID will stay the same, and the client ID will change as you add different repositories. And you're going to need both of those to make the TinaCloud Starter work as expected. So now we've done that, go ahead and clone the repository that you just forked, and I'll meet you in Visual Studio Code where we can talk about how the Cloud Starter works and how you can set it up to use TinaCloud. So now we are in the TinaCloud Starter repository, and there are a few files that you need to pay attention to. Firstly, the .m file here, that's .m local sample, you'll need to either rename or make a copy of this and call it Tina local. And if you use env.local, then you can use that as part of your development work before you deploy to somewhere like Vercel or Netlify, where TinaCloud is meant to be. So to begin with, I want to talk about this section here. Now, the number 1 indicates that Tina form submissions should persist to your local file system instead of through TinaCloud. So we wanted to show the difference between the two. So if you have this set to 1, what will happen is, instead of having your file be persisted to GitHub via the cloud, it will just happen in this local file set. And it won't ask you to authenticate or anything like that. So we can actually test this out right now. So first we should just put in our organization name and client ID, which, if you remember, comes from your TinaCloud dashboard. So go ahead, insert those in, hit save, and then we'll launch this, and I'll show you how the local file system works. So here we are in our TinaCloud Starter. Now you'll notice that we have this section here, and also a section called Vote for Pedro, which allows you to sort of see a few different styles of pages. Now, if we go to home here and click Enter Edit Mode, you'll notice that nothing was actually requested from me. All that happened was is it entered into edit mode, and we can start making changes. I can add some stuff to the body, or I can make this change to this body here, which is this section, and say hello from James. Now when I hit save here, this is persisted locally on our file system, which means that you're gonna then have to make a commit to GitHub, and then somebody's gonna have to approve it, or whatever that may be. So with TinaCloud, what will happen is when we make a change to that .env, you'll be able to directly talk to your GitHub repository, make changes, and those changes will be immediately live. If you're hosting this, let's say on Versailles, it will be immediately live so people can see those changes. So I'm going to exit out of edit mode, and you'll see that the old content has now been replaced with this. So now we know that this says, hello, James. So I'm going to spin down the server, and I'm going to make a change to that .env file that we just talked about and set this to 0. I'm going to relaunch the server, and I'm going to show you the complete difference between the two. So I've relaunched the TinaCloud starter, and we are now using TinaCloud. So I've changed that .env, and now we're going to be talking directly through TinaCloud. So when you click enter edit mode, you'll get asked to authorize yourself with TinaCloud. So you're going to click this continue button, and it's going to ask you to log in using your username and password. So once you've entered your username and password, you'll be able to make edits directly. So let me go ahead and do that. So now we've logged in, the first thing you'll notice is that the TinaCloud content has changed back to what was originally there. And that's because you're using what is inside GitHub and not what is inside your file system. So if we make an edit here and say, TinaCloud is ready for alpha, and hit save, what you'll see at the bottom is that the document was saved. And now if we exit out of edit mode, you'll notice that it went back to the hello from James. And that's because our file system is out of sync with GitHub. Now this is perfectly fine in a real world scenario, because this would be deployed out to say Versailles or Netlify or wherever you like to host next.js applications. Then what will happen is that when someone makes an edit, it will be what TinaCloud knows, which is what's in the GitHub repository, versus what you're seeing here, which is the local file system. Now this can be a bit tricky and confusing at first, but just remember, anything that's done in TinaCloud goes directly to GitHub, and anything that you use in your local file system won't match. So now if we actually go to github.com and we go to Perkins.jr, which is mine, and say TinaCloud starter, you'll see that there is an update from this GraphQL client. Now if we go to the contents and we go to marketing pages and click this index.md, you'll notice that the message body is TinaCloud is ready for alpha, which is what I just made as an edit via TinaCloud. So you can imagine if you have people working and they don't really know how code works, you could use this as a way for them to be able to edit or create content such as blog posts or you know, any marketing kind of pages, and they'll be able to do this really simply. So that's the end of this video. This gives you an idea of how to get started with TinaCloud Starter. In the future, we're going to be dropping videos such as the GraphQL layer and how to add TinaCloud to an existing site. Until next time, see ya!